There's a whole layer of details that an old money home has and new money homes don't even know to ask for. A lot of them barely cost more than the version everybody else installs. You just have to know they exist. And you only know if you grew up around them or you built them for people who did. I've spent 15 years building and renovating high-end homes, and I've installed every one of these, the real versions and the fake ones. So today, I'm going to show you 7 things you'll only find in a genuine old money home. What the real version actually is, and what the new money imitation looks like, and how to spot the difference from across the room. Some of these you can absolutely bring into your house, and a couple of them, well, once you know how to look, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Number 1, the butler pantry. It sounds like old money. That's an actual working second kitchen. When a developer says butler pantry today, they mean a 4-foot run of cabinets with a wine fridge and a coffee maker tucked in between the kitchen and the dining room. They call it a butler pantry because the term sells. That's a beverage station. It's a nice one, still a beverage station. A real butler pantry is full working prep room. Stone or soapstone counters, a second sink, a dishwasher that exists just for the crystal and the china, full height storage for the serving pieces, and a door straight to both the kitchen and the dining room. And it exists for one reason. That's to keep all the messy work, the plating, the staging, the entire post-dinner mountain of dishes completely out of sight. You host a dinner party for 12 and the disaster zone stays behind a door while the dining room stays perfect. The tell is just the size and function. A real one, well, runs from 80 to 200 square feet and can swallow a whole dinner party's worth of dishes without a single guest knowing. The developer version runs around 20 square feet and holds a wine fridge. Same name, completely different area or room. Number 2, solid plaster walls instead of drywall. Before 1950, plaster was just how walls got made. Hand-troweled coats of lime and sand, and the older homes, a horsehair binder mixed in. All of it floated over thin wood strips called lath. Then drywall showed up and took over because it's faster, cheaper, and any framer can hang it. Plaster takes a specialized trade that is almost extinct in this country now. You can feel the difference. Knock on a plaster wall and it's solid. It's dense. It barely makes a sound. Knock on a drywall and you get that hollow thud. Plaster blocks sound between rooms. Drywall passes it right through, which is exactly why you can hear any conversation 2 rooms away in a brand new house. And plaster lasts. A good plaster wall goes 100 years and gets repaired when it cracks. Drywall gives you 20 or 30, gets patched constantly. Old money homes never switched away from it. And when they renovate, they restore the plaster instead of tearing it out. Next time you're in an old house, knock on the wall. You'll feel the money. Number 3, hand-painted wallpaper. And this is the one almost nobody outside that world even know exists. There are a handful of houses. Names like De Gournay, Grassi, the Fonamental, and that hand paint wallpaper on the silk panels, actually artist painting custom scenes sized into your exact room. Usually botanicals or birds. A single panel can run anywhere from $500 to $1,500, and a dining room could go $30,000 to $80,000 just in the wallpaper before anybody's even hung it. New Money buys printed paper that copies the look for about $200 a roll. And the difference is, well, obviously from 3 feet away. The hand-printed version is a visual brushstrokes, slight variation from one panel to the next, and the texture of the silk sitting underneath the paint. The printed one is flat, perfectly repeating. Old Money uses the real thing in dining rooms, primary bedrooms, and powder rooms. And this is the part that gets me. It's almost never going into new construction. Even the 8-figure homes, for one simple reason. The people buying those houses don't know to ask for it. Oh, look at that. Spot and Tango's unkibbled. The dogs absolutely love it. Good boy. They've been like this every single time I put this down. That's the Spot and Tango's unkibble. And I want to talk about it. But I think their reaction, it says it all. It's a fresh, dry dog food made with 100% whole, human-grade ingredients. Unkibble is cooked at low temperatures, which preserves nearly 99% of the flavor, aroma, and nutrients. Every single ingredient is written right on the front of the bag, so nothing is hidden, nothing is weird. And it all comes with the custom scoop size for your dog's ideal calorie intake. And it runs about 40% less than most fresh pet food brands. We plugged our dog's information right into the website, and they sent us these amazing bags of food. And if your pup doesn't like it, Spot and Tango we'll refund you. But based on what I'm watching right now, that's probably not gonna be an issue. Guys, use this code
Becker60.
It will get you 60% off your first order. And of course, the link's below. Don't trust me, trust my dogs. Number 4, a real working library with a rolling ladder on a brass rail. Floor to ceiling built-in shelving, usually quarter sawn oak or walnut with polished brass rail running along the top and a wooden ladder on wheels that rolls along it. Sounds beautiful. But the ladder isn't the tell, the books are. In an old money library, the books are real. They're a mess in the best possible way. Leather-bound first editions, next to beat-up paperbacks, next to oversized art books, next to the kids' old picture books, all read unmatched, organized by someone who actually uses them. The new money version is books bought by the foot from a designer, color-coded by spine, arranged for the photo, and never once opened. One of those rooms has a soul. The other one is just a color palette. And there's real construction catch here that no one thinks about. A wall full of bookshelves is heavy, seriously heavy. And a proper library needs the floor assessed and usually reinforced to carry the load. Most new homes, well, maybe they can hold it, maybe they can't. So even the structure underneath the library is doing more than the one that's faking it. Quick one before number 5. A lot of what I'm describing is the kind of permanence and quality you can actually build into your own home if you plan for it. And that's exactly why I offer my free renovation playbook. It's here for you. It's a room-by-room checklist you take to your contractor, so the lasting stuff makes it into the plans. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can grab the link in the description. It's free, and it's the only time I'm going to bring this up. Let's jump into number 5. Working fireplaces in the bedroom, and sometimes in the bathrooms. Central heating made the fireplace unnecessary starting in the early 1900s. Old money homes just kept building them anyway. In every main room, the bedrooms, even the primary bath. A lot of them are gas converted now, so they actually get used, but they're real. Properly vented with true masonry chimneys behind them. The signal is having more than one per floor. New construction averages one fireplace in the entire house, and half the time it's a sealed gas box with a fake ceramic log set glowing behind glass. Old money has real masonry fireboxes with working dampers, hearths in marble or limestone, and surrounds that are original to the period the house was built in. A working fireplace in the primary bathroom, lit while you're soaking in the tub, is one of those details that only shows up in a house that was built back when fireplaces were normal, and just never stopped treating them as normal. Number 6, linen closets with real depth, solid wood shelving, and cedar lining. A proper linen closet is 24 to 30 inches deep, full height, lined in cedar with adjustable hardwood shelves and built-in drawers. Underneath for the table linens and the napkins. New construction has basically stopped building linen closets at all. And the few that survive are 12 inches deep with painted MDF shelves, no cedar hidden behind a hollow core door. Doesn't sound very appealing. And the depth is pure function. A folded sheet needs around 22 inches to lay flat, so a 12-inch shelf creases everything you put on it. The cedar does real work too. It keeps the moss out and it keeps the linen fresh between uses. Old money homes have these on every floor, sometimes 2 to a floor in the big houses. And the linens inside, well, they actually get cataloged and rotated. If you want to add a proper one to an existing house, you can budget $3,000 to $8,000 because you're almost always going to have to steal depth from another room. And number 7, the smallest detail with the loudest signal. Unlacquered brass hardware left to patina. Sounds expensive. Old money homes run solid, unlacquered brass on everything. Every interior door, every closet, every cabinet, every window latch, and it's unlacquered on purpose because the raw brass develops a patina over the years, darkening into a warm bronze right where the hand touches it the most. New money buys lacquered or PVD coated brass that holds a flawless shine forever, which actually works against it because it reads as brand new even when the house is 30 years old. What old money is quietly signaling without the patina is time. The house has been lived in, and the family has been there long enough that the doorknobs have started to remember which way to turn. And the part that really gets me, the hardware itself cost about the same either way. The only difference is whether the person buying it understood that the patina was the entire point. So that's it. And if you put all 7 of them together, the same thing runs through every single one. Old money builds 100 years and it does it quietly in places guests never noticed. New money builds for the photo. None of the real versions announce themselves. That's the entire point of them. If you want to build something of this lasting quality into your home, the free renovation playbooks walks you through it, room by room. The link's in the description. Now I know this video is a little different than what we normally do, but we are sticking our necks out. We're trying a little bit of stuff differently. And guess what? My money is going to be on that silk hand-painted wallpaper. I bet most of you had no idea that they even did that, or it was a thing, or that it could cost $60,000 to $80,000. So tell me in the comments, which one of these 7 surprised you the most? Tell me if you like this style of video, and if you don't, tell me why and what you'd rather see instead. Guess what, guys? I'll be in every comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Built by Becker.